Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Teachings of Queen Kunti, Chapter 19. Crossing beyond illusions currents. Nice name. Crossing beyond illusions currents. शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्त्यभीक्षण अभीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जनाः त एव पश्यन्त्यचिरेण तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम्. The very important verse. शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अभीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जनाः त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकं भव प्रवाह ओ aparamam padambujam. Pravaho paramam padambujam. Oh Krishna, those who continuously important, hear, chant and repeat, important, hear, chant and repeat your transcendental activities, or this is also very important, take pleasure in others doing so. Somebody might not be able to do it themselves, but if they are taking pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet. Certainly see your lotus feet, meaning they achieve Krishna, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. While our idea or intention is not just simply to stop repetition of birth and death, stopping of repetition of birth and death is just a side effect of this process of. So somebody either has to continuously hear, chant and repeat Krishna's transcendental qualities, or take pleasure in others doing so. Now we'll understand what this means. Supreme Lord Shri Krishna cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life full of spontaneous love of God. So this we've already discussed multiple times. So we cannot continue to live a conditioned life. We should move away from this different condition of life, and our condition of life is conditioned life. Our life is conditioned by material modes. So we have to change. Now our vision is influenced by this conditioning. We have to change our vision. And what should our vision be made up of? Full of spontaneous love of God. So we just discussed this spontaneous love, Raganuga Bhakti. So Prabhupada is saying that we have to move from conditioned life to life of pure devotion. When Sri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not everyone could see him as, meaning not that they were not able to see him, but they could not recognize him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord because they had a different vision. Their present vision did not allow them to see Krishna. And what was their present vision? They were materialists. So they could not see anything beyond materialism. They could not see even Krishna. They were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. And so many people say, show us Krishna. Even if Krishna comes and stands in front of then they will not be able to recognize him. They will think that, yeah, he is another person by name Krishna. That is why it is said that we don't see Krishna by our eyes. We see Krishna through our ears. So they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. What is this necessary vision? This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. Now, it just begins with hearing. We should not think that this is the end all. It begins with hearing, and hearing continues. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, and repeated. See, hear, chant, and repeat. So, Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, and repeated by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord face to face. The reason is that the first item, Shravana, is very important. And Prabhupada is saying that there are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita which were heard, chanted, repeated, but no use. People did not get the required result. Why? Because if the hearing is from the right source, it acts very quickly. So this is very, very important. You know. So if we hear from Prabhupada, if we hear, we are hearing from Prabhupada. Whatever Prabhupada is writing is hearing. We are hearing. So if we hear from Prabhupada, it acts very quickly. And again, this hearing means attentive hearing, not like, not inattentive, not for the sake of hearing. If he hears attentively, seriously, it acts very quickly. It acts very quickly, which is why we keep emphasizing this point that here, read Prabhupada's books. Many people say, I can't read Prabhupada's books. Okay, no problem. We will organize hearing sessions. But the hearing has to be based on Prabhupada's books. Right? So what we are trying to do here is actually this. This is a hearing session. Right? But this is based on Prabhupada's books, not some independent or some, some other topic or line of thinking or whatever, right? We are just reading simply from Prabhupada's books. Now, if we read this properly, this will act very quickly as people who are hearing continuously. This continuously is important. Those who are hearing continuously, they will see that this hearing is actually acting on them. Right? So some devotees, maybe you can share your experience of reading Prabhupada's books or, hearing attentively. Have you had an experience of some change that you experienced very quickly, not after years, very quickly? Because it cannot be that it does not happen, as in it is a done deal. If you read Prabhupada's books attentively, change has to happen because it is empowered. It is empowered. His each and every word is empowered. Now we talk about mercy. We say, we go to Guru, senior Vaishnavas and say, please give us mercy. Mercy is there in each and every word of Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said, even if one reads one single word, he is benefited. Single word. I mean, first when I was thinking, how is it possible? I mean, today I understand it's so empowered that literally, if somebody simply comes and reads Krishna, the Supreme Lord, over this single concept that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, goes into his head and his life will change. Now, when that life will change, that depends on the recipient. Okay? That depends on the recipient. The same mercy is being distributed to all people. But all people don't experience the same effect because they don't want to receive it as it is. They have their own barriers that they have created, which are unfounded. I mean, there's no reason why those barriers should actually exist. But we have created our own barriers. And we don't let the topic actually enter our hearts. We just block it. We block it at the brain level. See, Shravanam actually is not restricted to the brain. Shravanam has to enter the heart. This is proper hearing. If we just restrict the Shravanam to the brain, it's not going to have any effect. It's going to take time. We can't say that it won't have any effect. It's going to take time. But when we let the subject enter our heart, it will act very quickly, and this can be experienced. This is Vijnana. This is experience. So we don't have, this is not a post-dated check like Prabhupada used to say. It's not a post-dated check. If we simply hear from the right source, which is Srila Prabhupada, we hear attentively, it acts very quickly. But the problem is, generally people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualifications, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. This is very, very important. I just now also sent one quote from Srila Prabhupada on the group. Prabhupada is saying a sadhu is one who lives what he speaks. If somebody is just speaking but not living, and which is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that we have to preach by our actions, meaning whatever we are doing, we can preach. Whatever we are not doing, we cannot preach because it will not have the required effect. So unless a person who is preaching is actually following the principles, if he is not, hearing from such people is a sheer waste of time. Like I was just so amazed. I met some. Okay, question. Akshay Prabhu is asking what letting it into our heart means. Just taking, see, what enters our heart. Something that we feel that is good for us, right? Or we be uh, so when we say enter our heart, we take it seriously, we try to act on it, right? We accept it. Brain means logical. Brain means okay, good, bad, ugly. Okay, bad and ugly we'll just ignore. We will just throw it out of the brain itself. We don't process it further, right? Entering our heart means actually taking it literally, taking it seriously, not just lip service, right? Putting it into practice, accepting it. All these things means entering the heart, right? So so here see this so this sheer waste of time, this is very, very important. So we should not simply we should not simply hear from anybody and everybody. That's why actually the process of Shravanam, which unfortunately in ISKCON today he's gone haywire because of internet, right? Anybody and everybody is speaking and it's all on the internet. Actually we should not, everybody has the right to put their content, right? That nobody can block, right? But we should only hear from those people whom we know personally. And this is very important because we have to know their personal life. We have to know whether they are really following what they're speaking. Otherwise it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I know so many devotees who keep saying, I'm hearing from here, there, everything. Okay, I just ask one simple question. Has there been any transformation? Has it acted on you? What changes have happened since you started hearing? Because we don't, I mean, different kinds of preaching is meant for different kinds of people. This also we don't seem to understand. Some preaching is for newcomers, right? That's why I get like I'm not very comfortable when newcomers and existing devotees are in the same forum. It's very difficult. Nobody gets the benefit because if we go into deeper topics, then the like newcomers won't understand. While if we just talk about beginners topic, devotees will say, oh, we already know this. While it should not be the attitude, because same thing we have to hear again and again. But I see that generally we cannot satisfy both classes of devotees, right? New ones and existing ones. So sometimes if a lecture if a class is intended for newcomers, existing devotees should not read it, and maybe that class for newcomers is just very, maybe there is very light, saying, it's okay, like just introductory. And existing devotees will hear that and say, oh, okay, I can also do all this because this Prabhu said in the class. He's a very great preacher. But without knowing whom this class was intended to, we cannot just take something and conclude, right? So it becomes a waste of time. So we should have a similar, like-minded audience, like Prabhupada said in one of the purports, like-minded association, which means that, okay, if there are a group of devotees who are very serious about making progress, then such devotees will come together and they will hear, and they should hear from a person who they feel is more advanced and who also is living the talk, not just speaking, right? But he is also trying to follow sincerely whatever he's speaking. Then the matter will act quickly because the matter is anyway powerful, right? The matter, there's no question about what Prabhupada has written, it's super powerful. But why is it not having the same effect on everybody? Everybody is reading Prabhupada's books. Why is it not having the same effect? One is receptiveness of the individual. Second thing, many people, unfortunately, they don't have the intellectual capability to understand Prabhupada's books. Then they end up hearing. Some people have the intellectual capability, but maybe are lazy to read Prabhupada books and they end up in hearing. And when they hear from not the right source or not the intended, like it's that the content they're hearing is not intended for them who want to make serious progress, then it just becomes a sheer waste of time. And that is why it is very, very important whom we hear from. Mm. And so this concept is actually not simply hear from anybody and everybody. It is actually, see, the process is very simple, but again, our current ISKCON system kindly slightly makes it complicated. Uh, so see, basically there is first thing we have to understand is there's the Prabhupada is all our Shiksha Guru, right? Now, after Prabhupada, the immediate Shiksha Guru has to be our Guru, our spiritual master, right? Now, till then, I mean, I've told this multiple times, I'm repeating this. Devotees should hear from Prabhupada, read Prabhupada's books for at least 2 years after coming into Krishna consciousness because they have to understand what Prabhupada is saying. After that, the next set of people whom they're going to hear from are only those gurus whom they are, hearing from to decide where to surrender or to whom to surrender. Right now, after that, ideally, the rest of the life focus should be on only hearing from Guru and Prabhupada and very senior Vaishnavas, but that will not happen on a daily basis, right? On as and how basis, right? But regular hearing actually has to happen from Prabhupada and Guru. This is the process. So the Guru, Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru for all, and the Diksha Guru is also the Shiksha Guru of the disciple. This is the process. Now, what can happen is, for whatever reasons, the Diksha Guru can um, recommend or ask some of his advanced devout disciples to actually give Shiksha on his behalf, which is also acceptable, right? Ideally, this was what the process which had to be followed, right? But today, yeah, I mean, because of technology, because of various things, devotees are ending up hearing from people without knowing really their own religious spiritual practice, whether that hearing is meant for them, etc., etc., right? So this hearing generally becomes a waste of time, right? It's because if it is not acting very quickly, then it's a waste of time. This much we should understand. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should see. Oh, this is exactly what I was saying. First, one should select a competent and bona fide speaker. Select. See, there's a process of selection. I mean, you'd be surprised if I tell you saying that all these years in ISKCON, I have heard, meaning consistently, continuously, from possibly 3 speakers. Actually, two, maybe a third one, two and a half, I can say. That's all. Right? Because it's very clear that, I don't want to hear from anybody and everybody. And I also see that it's not completely representing what Prabhupada wanted in some cases for whatever reasons. I mean, I don't want to go into all that. But the point is that there has to be a selection. We have to select a competent and bona fide speaker. And then we hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other process become automatically perfect in their own way. So this is exactly what I was trying to say, right? So when we hear perfectly, when we hear from the right source, from the right competent bona fide speaker, when we hear it perfectly, meaning taking it seriously, not taking it casually, not hearing from one ear and leaving it from the other, or not hearing it saying it's not meant for me. See, if we are doing any hearing and thinking, reading or hearing and thinking this is not meant for me, then whom is it meant for? Whom did Prabhupada write all this for? If we just keep disqualifying ourselves, I've seen this many devotees just disqualify themselves. Oh, this is not for me, Prabhu. This is very advanced. Arey Baba, if it was so advanced, then why would Prabhupada write in his books? If he has generally written it, there are advanced topics which Prabhupada has not written about. Okay, but everything else that he has written is not for advanced. This is the standard of devotion. This is where all devotees have to come. We can't just disqualify ourselves and take it as an excuse and say, "Oh, I'm not going to follow this, I'm not going to follow that." That is called selective hearing. Selective. I will just choose what works for me. I will hear that and follow that. That's not going to help make progress. So this hearing process, while we emphasize hearing, Prabhupada is very clearly qualifying the nature of that hearing. So please take this seriously. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. Can somebody explain this? See, simple statement. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result. Each and every one of them, provided the hearing process is perfect. Anybody wants to explain what this might mean?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Prabhuji, it seems to be related to the verse Jan Karm Cheme Divyam and Tatvata. So, we need to hear from the right sources the activities of the Lord from authorized sources, so that we can understand it properly, and it will act and give the desired result of moving forward in spiritual life.
Desired result of what?
Of moving forward in the spiritual life and reaching to Krishna at the end.
Okay, reaching Krishna at the end. What is this end? This whole thought process means that it is somewhere there, out somewhere. It's not available right now, is it? The end is not available right now. Is available, not available?
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, boliye Prabhuji.
What should I say? That is the.
What should you say?
I actually, as you said, right, that just now you said that we self-disqualify ourselves. So I think same mindset is.
Yeah. Just pointing that out. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so it's fine. So Janma Karma Chamedi. Anybody else wants to say anything? Naveda Bhakti. Yeah, but no, that's not the question. The question is saying that there are different transcendent activities of Lord. Each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process perfect. See, this we should understand, right? See, basically, what should be our state of mind? Ante Narayana Smriti, right? Whenever we are going to give up this body for normal people, right? When people give up their body, by at that time they have to think about Krishna. That is the process, right? Now, the desired, any transcendent activity, say for example, now in Kartik, right? And we are glorifying Damodar every day. Yesterday I was saying that every day, literally, I am chanting, repeating the same Leela. And now it's been like maybe 5 years, every year, 30 days in a month, literally, every day there'll be some program or the other. I'm just repeating the same Leela. And I told people that I have still not got bored. Nobody gets bored, right? Repeating the Lord's transcendental activities. Because when we have heard from the right source actually is making the impact of making us feel happy or, making us feel so involved, because that is samadhi. So this hearing, just simply hearing Damodar Leela can give us Krishna Prema. This is the point here. Simply hearing one Leela. If you simply see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by example that he used to repeatedly hear Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj. Showing what? That which is why Prabhupada said, read Krishna book every day. Even if you get attached to one Leela, whatever it is, or two Leelas or five, and every day we are just simply thinking about it, that becomes Smaranam. And that Smaranam is what is required at the time of death. Of course, if we do this process properly, we are not going to die. I was speaking about this in the temple yesterday, right? And I've spoken about this before also. Saying that devotees don't die because devotees' body becomes spiritualized. It will become spiritualized if we actually follow the process, this process. So if the hearing process is perfect, we will achieve perfection even before the so-called end of this body. Because by the perfect hearing process, our whole existence would have become spiritualized. That means that no death for us. And in that connection, I was requesting devotees not to bring exalted Vaishnavas to material platform of pain and pleasure. This platform of pain and material pain and pleasure is material platform. We should not bring exalted devotees down to that level. We should not think that, oh, this great Vaishnava is also suffering. He is also going to hospital. He is also taking medicine. This is an offense. This is an offense because they've already reached that stage. They're here for some purpose which they know and their guru knows and Krishna knows. That's all. Because their hearing was perfect, their life is perfect. Anyway, it's a slight digression. But the point is, each and every activity of the Lord is perfect. It can give the desired result. But the important process is the hearing process. It has to be perfect. And what does it mean by hearing process perfect? Prabhupada already said, select a competent bona fide speaker, hear from him. So if we simply hear from Prabhupada, who is more than competent, more than bona fide, then we simply, our hearing process will be perfect. We achieve perfection. Over. Prabhupada said, if the hearing process is perfect, everything else will automatically become perfect. End of story. But unfortunately, for some reason, which I also don't understand, people somehow are not attached to Prabhupada's books. Are not attracted. I mean, how can we not get attracted by this kind of writing? It's just inconceivable to think how devotees cannot get attracted to Prabhupada's writings. The only reason can be because they are not understanding it, right? Or they are just very unfortunate. So as ISKCON, as temple, we should provide opportunities for people to understand the beauty of Prabhupada's writing, and thereby, create more inspiration, more desire, more motivation for people to read Prabhupada's books. Because see, all this, so much of nectar is there in Prabhupada's books, right? But we don't seem to understand it. Why? Because we are not reading it properly. Of course, these realizations don't come on the first reading, right? Maybe 5 times we should read for us to get there. But we should read, na? If we don't read at all, how are we going to get there? In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwarka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in an unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealings with the gopis. This is Sahaji, as just he's mentioning about them. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such things. Now, having said this, it doesn't mean that a person, devotee who's actually made progress, should not hear about gopis. This is for those who don't have the adhikara, who are still struggling, or who are living a lusty life and want to hear about Krishna's dealing with gopis. That is not bona fide, right? But somebody sincerely making progress and who has come to a certain stage should definitely hear about dealings with gopis. Because otherwise, how will we know how is this devotional service in Madhurya Rasa? But such devotees, not that they will reject dealings with Pandavas, or not that they will not read other cantos of Bhagavatam. They will definitely read, but they will be more inclined towards certain pastimes. Maybe somebody wants to hear uh, Vatsalya Rasa Leela, somebody wants to hear Sakya Rasa Leelas, somebody might want to hear Madhurya. But that is after having read Prabhupada's books 2-3 times at least, attentively. And only then we can talk about all this. Otherwise, if you're just generally opening directly to this chapter in Bhagavatam, that is just lusty. That's all. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures, and that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. See, this is very important, right? Of course, there is progressive development, but when we hear the word progressive, yeah, the picture that should come to our mind is very quick progress, not slow, lethargic progress, right? Because Prabhupada already said it acts very quickly. But yes, we can't be like today we are in a mode of ignorance and tomorrow we will be in Krishna Prema. No, that's not going to happen. But it's also not required that today we are in mode of ignorance and I'll take 10 lifetimes to get there. It can all happen within one life. Within, I'm not even saying at the end of one life. I'm saying within one life, before the end of this life. That is the progression. And that is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. Power of Srimad Bhagavatam is in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam only it is said, right? Like Lord becomes firmly fixed in the heart of the devotee who reads Srimad Bhagavatam daily. Prabhupada said it's an austerity to read his book. So if you're able to read Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 hour every day, it will act like very powerfully. And I also told in the earlier classes saying that if somebody wants to really overnight change their life, please start reading Srimad Bhagavatam for 2 hours and you see what will happen. One should not therefore consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, he is the hero in all circumstances, and hearing about him or about his devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. It is said that the Vedas and Puranas, etc., are all made to revive our lost relationship with him. Hearing of these scriptures is essential. Now we should understand, saying that see the way Prabhupada has presented his books is such that first is he gives us the required foundation, right? About Sambandha Gyan, right? Who are we? We are here. This is conditioned life. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So we should change our, like Prabhupada is saying in this purport, change our present vision from conditioned life, and we should engage in Krishna's loving devotional service. Now, having talked about this, and generally, a lot of Prabhupada's purports, especially in Bhagavatam, are also focused on about the society and how fallen it is and how to change the society. So revolutionary thinking. Mm. Uh, Now after all that, so his books are intended to change us as individuals, change the society as a whole. And then there are all these advanced topics when we come to the 10th canto, which we should hear. And when we hear them, then it revives our lost relation. We start feeling, and we have to. I mean, those devotees who have been in Krishna consciousness for long, if they've done proper hearing, they should already start getting attracted to certain type of pastime, certain rasa. Those who are early in their early stages of bhakti, it will happen. We have to just wait patiently. Yesterday's message I sent, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya. Prabhupada said, just wait patiently. Don't be in a hurry. Right? Of course, don't be in a hurry doesn't mean like again, don't plan for multiple lifetimes. But yeah, today I started reading, tomorrow nothing is going to happen. And tomorrow my last relationship with Krishna will not get revived. But it has to get revived. If it is not getting revived, then we have to seriously consider our position, the way we are doing bhakti, and see really, is this important for me? I mean, is this whole bhakti thing important for me, or am I just doing it without any meaning or reason? right? And that will require us to engage in Tivra Bhakti, serious Bhakti, sincere. And then obviously these things are bound to happen. They are bound to happen. Hmm. So please invest time. I'm saying using the word invest because people think it's a waste of time, right? No, we have to invest time. It's an investment. It'll bear results. It'll reap results unparalleled, unparalleled to any investment one can make. Any investment of their time, right? People say, okay, I have work, I go to office, I have business, I need to run, I have to do this, I have to do that. Yeah, we are investing time everywhere. We get certain results. But if we invest, say, suppose I invest 1 hour time reading Bhagavatam, 1 hour time in at work, the results that we are going to get is unparalleled. It can't be compared. It just can't be compared. Yeah, that 1 hour at work, maybe it gave us crores of rupees. But what is the use? That 1 hour with Srimad Bhagavatam will revive our lost relationship with Krishna. So we can decide whether that 1 hour giving for Krishna for reading Srimad Bhagavatam is more important than my 1 hour at work. No, having said this, it's not recommended saying that okay, stop doing your work, become inattentive, you know, perform badly. Not like that. But we don't have to overdo it. We have this tendency of overdoing everything. We have to work for 8 hours, we work for 12 hours. Overdoing, unnecessary. Why we think, oh, by working more, I'm going to get more. That's just an illusion. We are going to get whatever we are supposed to get. Right? So don't have to be too worked up about this work like a donkey philosophy, right? It's not for us. It's for donkeys. We are not donkeys. Right? So if we engage our time in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, it will help us revive our lost relationship. And this is the best return of investment. Right? So please, I mean, a lot of devotees have some holidays, free time. So please reflect on these things. And before you get to work, maybe whenever tomorrow, day after, whatever it is, right? Just try to fine tune your lifestyle. Try to fine tune where you're using time. Give more time to Krishna. Especially Srimad Bhagavatam is so powerful. Real medicine, powerful medicine. But unfortunately, again, same thing, people are not reading, people are not reading attentively, people are struggling, they can't make progress. And you have to find solutions. We have to find solutions. We can't just give up. And okay, it's fine. I'm not able to read. It's fine. No, get hold of other devotees, few devotees, who are maybe reading around the same chapters, and then every day spend half an hour read at least. Read together. One person will read one paragraph, another person will read another paragraph. Some momentum, some moment will happen. But please read. Please read Prabhupada's books. Otherwise, there's no hope. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but just simply like Prabhupada said, this hearing will be a sheer waste of time. General hearing. If you are reading Prabhupada's books regularly, then it will act very, very quickly. Okay. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any comments, questions, we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So Prabhuji, you said that Srimad Bhagavatam we should read sequentially and go to 10th canto, but you said Krishna book also we should read. So
Yeah.
Krishna book is also based on 10th canto only. So
That is the great mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We absolutely have to read Krishna book because Krishna book is not, I'm just using this word just for you to understand. It doesn't nakedly present the, the deeper rasas. Okay, Prabhupada has protected hearers by his purports and statements, which is protecting them in such a way that they will not make any offense or they will not look at it in a mundane fashion. And so that is why it is his special mercy that he is letting people who are totally unqualified to read Krishna book. And that's why he said, you read Krishna book, you will go back to Krishna. Right? You just simply read Krishna book, you will go back to Krishna. But then, it's also important for especially preachers. We have to read other parts of Bhagavatam. We have to preach to people. Right? So it's important, and it gives us a holistic understanding of what Krishna is. So yeah, both are important, but more important, if somebody is like in such a stage of life that they can't read Bhagavatam at all, simply read Krishna book. Simply read Krishna book repeatedly, and that person will go back to Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, Danda, Prabhu, please tell.
No, can I add little bit?
Please, please, please. Yeah.
I used to read 3-4 hours earlier.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as my reading gone down means stopped almost. I almost, you see, my life ulta changed. When I was reading, I was so much connected to Krishna, I can't tell you. But it's a everyday process. Prabhupada's book is everyday process, I can say that in life.
Yes.
Like chanting is everyday process, and Prabhupada's books reading is also everyday process. And once habit lose, then go back to habit of reading is very difficult.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
I am facing now because almost 2 years I couldn't read because of health issue, this issue, that issue. I couldn't read. No, but I'm trying. I will read 2 days, 3 days. Again break comes. Then again go back. Like it is a very difficult process comes at you again.
We lose that taste. Yeah.
We lose the taste. So it's as you said, it is every day. If we are not getting 1 hour, okay, at least 10-15 minutes we should read 2 shlok, 1 shlok. So our habit should not change actually.
Yes, Prabhu.
That is most important point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for encouraging me to read again.
No. I'm encouraging myself to read. See, basically, one thing I want to also say, right? Like, see, if you don't take this reading business seriously, right? For example, I mean, with all due respects to what Anukul Prabhu is saying, right? See, I'm not very happy with devotees who can't find half an hour in their life for Prabhupada's books, because see, that only shows that something else is more important for us. Right, because see it's I give this simple example to understand. Suppose say you have in front of you a big jar of your favorite juice, whatever it is, right? Like you have like a big jar of juice, and that's your favorite, right? I mean, you just like relish it a lot. Now what I will tell you is, I will tell you saying that you should only take 1 sip a day. You should take only 1 sip a day. Okay, now you take 1 sip and you like it didn't even get to your taste buds. I mean, you couldn't even like figure out the taste, right? Now you say, I'm not satisfied. Next day I'll say, no, you drink one sip only. After a few days, then you will get bored. You will say, this 1 sip is not helping me. I want to at least take 5 sips. I want to take at least 10 sips. Then you'll say, why can't I just drink the whole thing? So till we get to the stage of drinking the whole thing, the taste will not develop. So unfortunately, while yes, from just a simple practice perspective, keep reading 15 days, the 15 minutes a day, this 15 minutes a day is not going to make the impact. It's not going to give us ruchi. The ruchi is going to come when we are going to drink it, right? And drink it means investing time. Right. And I've gone through this stage of my life where I didn't have like absolutely no time, but I made it a point saying that I never skip reading Prabhupada's books, and no lip service to reading Prabhupada's books. No lip service, meaning no limited time. Give it. Why can't we give it half an hour? Why can't we give it half an hour? What will stop in our life? In that half an hour, is our life going to go astray? I mean, no, absolutely nothing is going to happen. In fact, I've told this multiple times, for those who are desirous of reading Prabhupada's books, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, time gets manufactured, right? I mean, you don't have time, it comes in front of you. And it says, take me. I'm now available. You want to use this? Take it. Right? So my encouragement is, please don't be settled. My encouragement, that's why I'm saying 1 hour. Because if we say 1 hour, then maybe, devotees, Prabhu is saying 1 hour, maybe at least I'll read half an hour. If I say half an hour, it'll come to 5 minutes. And that's not going to satisfy the soul. Bhagavatam says that hearing Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, that gives happiness to the soul, but not if it is 15 minutes. Not if you are sipping Bhagavatam. We have to drink. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, it says. Pibata means drink, not sip. So we should drink. So please invest time for drinking. And then the taste, once the taste starts, then nothing can stop us. No, nothing can stop us. Taste has to. I mean, literally, see, every statement, we can't go beyond like 10 statements in a class. Why? Because there's so much of nectar, so much of rasa in Prabhupada's writing. Right? But we are not able to extract it because we are not giving it the required time. Only we can give time, we can extract the nectar. Okay, so please invest time. This is my humble request. Anything else? And if you are reading, please encourage others. You know, this is not a, this is multi-level marketing. You know, so if 10 people get inspired, we can go and inspire 10 more people. 100 people are inspired. 100 people can go and inspire another 100 people, right? So eventually, this is what is going to save us. You know, Prabhupada said this is darkest, in the darkest time of Kali Yuga. Prabhupada's books is the torchlight. Okay, there's nothing else, we can stop here. It's already 9:50. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One doubt I would like to.
Yes, Mataji.
I mean, like when you're reading many times, like you get stuck with some thing which you, I mean, as it is, you don't understand, and then when you get stuck, probably you don't move forward or you leave that.
Yes.
What is
the process? Yeah.
See,
the process is, so general approach is, sometimes, you know, we read and we don't understand simply because of inattention. So when that happens, we just read it 2-3 times more, right? And when we read it the second, third time, suppose nothing is flashing, right? It's just not, we're not able to understand it. Just make a note of that in a statement in a book or your mobile or somewhere for subsequent discussion. Don't get stuck. See, Prabhupada's books is such that it's not that if you don't understand one statement, you will not understand the next statement. You might not understand 2-3 connected statements, right? But that's all, right? So you make a note and then you can discuss with other devotees so that you get clarity. But we should never get stuck. See, we should understand that Prabhupada books are for different levels of Krishna consciousness, people of Krishna consciousness. There might be suddenly some statements that Prabhupada has inserted in the middle, which is like for maybe much above our level, right? So we will not be able to understand it. How much ever we break our heads, we are not going to understand it at that point of time. So my approach normally is I just simply make note of it and I discuss with other devotees who might be more accomplished than me and try to understand it. If that also doesn't happen, sometimes I just give it time. I just give it like, you know, time, and I'm just meditating on this, saying that, okay, Prabhupada said this, I'm not able to understand. I'm not able to understand. Then Krishna will reveal, right? Some we are reading somewhere, we are hearing somewhere, suddenly some connection happens to that statement and we got the understanding. So all these kind of things happen. So we should not get stuck. That's the core.
Usually what happens to Prabhu when you come to such a thing and once or twice, you know, then you tend to close the bookings. But you know, this, you should move forward. I mean, I do try getting a clarification from some senior devotees, but at that particular point, the book is closed because नहीं समझ में आ रहा, मेरे को नहीं पढ़ने का है. As it is, you don't want to read. As it is,
you got a reason now. Yeah. Okay, Mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.